An officer hit by a suspected drunk driver, broken ribs, fractured vertebrae, a steel rod in his leg. He describes the crash and the person he considers to be the real victim. Armed in her house while she was home. The surveillance video that could help police catch two bold thieves. Survivor, coach, volunteer, the inspirational story of a father who survived the unthinkable and strives to pay it forward. SAT adversity score, crime, poverty, your parents' education, how the college admission test now plans to rank the students who take it. And Bacteria Busters, we test two products that claim to kill germs with the wave of a wand.
You're watching Channel 3 News at 6 with Russ Mitchell and Sarah Shookman.
And good evening. Tonight, an Akron police officer is telling his story just days after he was hit by a suspected drunk driver.
Officer Jason McKeel was on his motorcycle when he was struck by a van in West Akron. Channel 3's Amanda Abraham joins us tonight with details on the officer's recovery and the message he has for drivers. Hi, Amanda.
Hello. McKeel says that he didn't have enough time to stop, but police say that the driver hit McKeel when the driver was trying to pass through a stop sign, blew through that stop sign, eventually pinning McKeel underneath that van.
There's a police officer down. Police officer down. What happened? He was hit by a car.
It was scary, looking at the pictures.
Jason McKeel says he didn't remember much from that night after he was pulled from underneath the van.
All I remember is trying to stop the motorcycle and going down.
McKeel was left with a broken finger, 3 fractured ribs, a fractured vertebrae, and a fractured tibia and fibula. Doctors had to put a steel rod in his leg. It's hard to get around, but McKeel says he's on the road to recovery. The driver, 65-year-old Corey Sharp, is facing a list of charges, including OVI and child endangering, because her 11-year-old granddaughter was in the van.
The 11-year-old is really the unfortunate victim in this, too, because she doesn't have a choice. Grandma wants to take her home. She gets in the car with Grandma.
McKeel says he's not angry, but he hopes this sends a message to be careful behind the wheel and to watch out for motorcycles.
You can't look left and look right. You have to look left, look right, and then do it again.
His wife also had a message. There's no reason to drink and drive.
Nowadays, there's Uber, Lyft. Pick up the phone and call somebody.
Now, McKeel says he was in another bike accident about 2 years ago when he was guiding a funeral procession, but he says he expects to ride again. In Akron, Amanda Abraham, Channel 3 News.
This time of year, you got to keep looking every direction, like he said. Thank you, Amanda. Well, also tonight, police have made an arrest in the hit-and-run accident that injured a bicyclist in Avon Lake earlier this week. Allison Spurl of Avon Lake has been charged with failure to yield and reckless operation, among other charges. The bicyclist suffered serious injuries. Spurl was released on bond and is expected in court in early June.
Police in Lake County are looking for more potential victims of a man accused of sex crimes involving minors. 49-year-old Anthony Colangelo faces federal child porn charges after the FBI and police raided homes in Madison and Perry townships last month. He's being held on a $100,000 bond. Investigators have expanded their search to Ashtabula and Geauga counties, saying he frequented parks in those counties and could have met more victims there. Tonight, Akron police asking for your help finding 2 men who broke into a home in broad daylight. Brandon Simmons joins us now. And Brandon, I understand this is another case when home security cameras are helping police.
Yeah, technology always helping us out. This break-in was all caught on camera, and police hope someone will be able to ID those suspects. Now, the victim told police she was upstairs in her bedroom on the phone when the suspects broke in through a back door downstairs. Now, you can see one of the suspects look around the kitchen while the other draws a handgun and walks through the house. That's when the victim said she was confronted by both men in her bedroom. They threatened her before taking her cell phone, a TV, and her purse. Now, after the suspects left, the victim went to a neighbor's house where she was able to call police, and police canines were able to track her property to a vacant home nearby and recovered everything except for some of the stolen cash. Now, right now, those suspects are still on the loose, Russ, and anyone with information about what happened is encouraged to call Akron Police or Summit County Crime Stoppers.
Okay, Brandon Simmons here in the studio with us. Thank you.
Sure.
Investigators say at least 177 men were sexually abused by an Ohio State team doctor. Dr. Richard Strauss died back in 2005, but a law firm that investigated on behalf of the university released its findings today. Its report concludes that school officials knew of complaints about Strauss's conduct, but did not investigate. The claims date from 1979 to 1997 and involve athletes from at least 16 sports. They also involve patients at the Student Health Center. Now, most of the claims are part of 2 lawsuits against the university that are headed to mediation. Well, the Cleveland Marathon is this weekend, and one of the runners has an inspiring story. She works at Metro Health's Trauma Recovery Center, and she says she's ready for Sunday's half marathon thanks to help from her coach. He was stabbed 14 times, and now he wants to pay it forward by helping the woman who saw him through his darkest times. Monica Robbins has their story.
If anyone understands the concept of life being a marathon, not a sprint, it's Kim Jaworski. The former runner and his wife survived a horrific attack by their son, who suffers from schizoaffective disorder, a mental illness that causes hallucinations. He stabbed both 14 times. Both survived, but Kim's injuries kept him in Metro 49 days.
The day he woke up and he asked how his son was.
We still love him as a person. We just don't love his disease.
Sarah Hendrickson is the director of Metro Health's Trauma Institute and Recovery Center, a program that helps survivors find hope, usually from other survivors. She trained Kim to help others.
They look at somebody and they don't see somebody that's broken. They see all the ways that they're going to get better.
And survivors like Kim inspired her to change her life.
I have 2 small children and I wanted to just do something different and get healthy and stay healthy for them.
Kim suggested Sarah start running, and he could help.
I run 15 marathons and 150K.
His tips and his help and his pointers and his encouragement. He has pushed me further than I ever thought I'd be. I can do it. I'm a runner, I think, and I'm down 50 pounds.
She's doing the half on Sunday. Kim may not be on the course, but he'll be with her.
When you get out there and it starts to hurt and you think, he's been through worse, he's hurt more, and you keep going.
Kim may not run anymore, but he does volunteer at the Cleveland finish line. He and wife Carol will be waiting for Sarah.
The thought of Kim putting a medal around my neck, I mean, I'll fight for that. I'll push for that.
Monica Robbins, Channel 3 News.
And he won't be the only one waiting for Sarah at the finish. Her husband and kids will be there too, and she hopes they'll understand why she's worked so hard to get healthy and reach this milestone. She's also entertaining the idea of signing up for the full marathon next year. Well, runners for the 10K, half and full marathons headed downtown today to pick up their race packets for Sunday. The Health and Fitness Expo, presented by Prayers from Maria, is free and open to the public. It goes on until 7 o'clock tonight and again tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. And you can head to WKYC.com to look at our full marathon guide. There you can see the race times, the map of the course, and a list of road closures. Well, now to a controversial move when it comes to trying to level the playing field on the SAT.
The entrance exam is adding what it calls an adversity score, a number that's calculated using a number of factors then given to colleges along with a student's test score. We want to know what you think about that. Should SAT add this adversity score to college admissions tests?
You can let us know at WKYC.com/vote now. And in the meantime, Andrew Horansky is here to explain that adversity score and what administrators are saying. Hi, Drew.
Certainly many views on this one, guys. About 2 million students take the test each year. Moving forward, their backgrounds will now be factored in.
It comes amid a college cheating scandal and challenges to some schools' affirmative action policies. The College Board, which administers the SAT, will now start including a so-called adversity score when submitting test results.
What this tool allows us to see is there is so much more talent out there than a test score reveals alone.
The new score will be a number between 1 and 100, calculated using 15 factors, including the crime rate and poverty level of the student's home neighborhood, the quality of their high school, family income, and environment. Above a 50 means hardship, below it means privilege, and race won't be a factor, with critics saying you shouldn't put a figure on adversity.
It risks reducing something that is very human to a number.
While Cleveland Schools CEO Dr. Eric Gordon calls it a step in the right direction, particularly for students who live in poverty and have high GPAs, but struggle with standardized tests.
Students with lower test scores but higher GPAs actually persist just as well and often better when they get to college. And what the adversity score looks at is other factors that these students have persisted through and have shown up as learners. We really have to make sure that we're creating equitable access for all kids and not only those kids who it's easy to already get into college.
A place that for many remains out of reach.
Now, the adversity score's technical name is actually Environmental Diversity Context Dashboard. It was used by 50 colleges last year in a trial period. Next year, there will be 150 with more schools after that. Russ?
Joe, will a student ever know what their adversity score is?
A good question. No, it will never be reported to them, only to college officials, who are likely then to be the only ones who will ever know how much it ended up actually factoring into that student's decision.
And of course, we've been asking you what you think about this adversity score. Most of you right now saying no way. It's obviously a very challenging little mix there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Drew.
Sure.
Coming up tonight, bacteria busters. What's better, wipes, sprays, or devices that promise to disinfect?
Danielle Serena put them all to the test and tells us what works next. And Betsy, we are talking about heat.
We're big time heat, actually. Yeah, temperatures are going to be moving up quickly as we head through the day tomorrow. But if you've got prom tomorrow or weddings or anything that you have to do, the morning may be a little misleading. I'll explain why coming up.
Channel 3 News at 6 is brought to you by Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
Ahead tonight, required vacation banned from peeking at work emails. Some of the lengths companies are going to de-stress employees. Also, the judge in the Larry Nassar sex abuse case speaks to us about how she gave his victims their voice.
Welcome back. Imagine being able to disinfect everyday items just by waving a wand. No more wipes or chemical sprays.
Consumer investigator Danielle Serena found two products that claim to do just that. She's tested out some bacteria busters, and Danielle, I understand you brought in some scientists for this.
Oh, we did. Two specialists from the VA here in Cleveland. Now, a recent study found that commercial-grade handheld UV lights can kill several types of bacteria, but is that true for the ones consumers can buy? We tested some germy surfaces to see whether you're worth your money. Germs and bacteria like these are just about everywhere, from toys and technology. Even the soles of our shoes can get us sick, since some of us put them where we shouldn't.
Viruses and other bacteria can survive on these surfaces for hours, or some bacteria even longer than that, weeks or months.
Which means touch it and you could be in trouble. So we brought in specialists from the VA Medical Center in Cleveland to test out two handheld sanitizers, the Germ Reaper and the Germ Eyes, which both use UV lights to sanitize and sterilize.
So we'll start with the shoe.
Our scientists swabbed several products, including my cell phone, some sticky, icky toys from a colleague's son, and a communal keyboard in our newsroom, which she put into a petri dish to get a baseline level of germs, before trying to blast them away with the wands. And when she was done, she swiped everything again.
So we'll take these back to the lab. We'll incubate them in our 37-degree incubator.
3 days after our unscientific germ study.
For demonstration purposes, I think what this nicely shows is that these devices are really not great.
There were fewer germs on the sneakers, but not anywhere near the 99.9% promised for either product.
We would almost expect it to eliminate all the bacteria that's there, but there's still some that's remaining.
It was the same thing with my cell phone. And for the toys, no playing around here.
As you can see, this is kind of gross and disgusting.
Only the keyboard showed a significant reduction of germs.
Because there's so many nooks and crannies, it's hard for us when we use a wipe to get in there and clean. That's one place where UVC is really an advantage.
And why the VA uses it for their keyboards. But get this, the doctor says safety issues with these online products outweigh worries over germs.
I feel safer just using a disinfectant wipe than I would using this type of device that potentially you can be exposed to UV with your eyes or your skin.
Now, we tried to contact the makers of the Germ Reaper and Germ Eyes, but weren't successful. And FYI, in 2015, the FTC settled with two companies that sold handheld UV lights for more than $500,000, alleging they didn't have solid scientific backing for their claims. Nonetheless, I put links to the products in my story on our website, WKYC.com.
A lot of creepy stuff out there, it looks like, right?
Yeah, a lot of dirty germs. I thought there would be a lot more on the phone, because that's
Right.
kind of the
Yeah,
common
right.
perception, but no, and it's also your own germs, you know, not strangers on the keyboards, but the keyboards are...
Back to the wipes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks,
All right,
Danielle.
thank you.
Well, she was an internet celebrity and the face of countless memes. Tonight, we have learned that Grumpy Cat has died. Her owners used Twitter to confirm the news. Grumpy Cat's real name was Tartar Sauce, and she shot to fame in 2012 thanks to her permanent frown. She was 7 years old.
Moment of silence for Grumpy Cat.
Tartar sauce.
That's a pretty good name.
I think that's pretty cute.
I know.
It is cute. You said, don't be fooled by
Right.
the weather tomorrow morning.
So tomorrow morning, everybody's going to get up and they're going to go, it's not 80 degrees, it's not sunny. I think
Betsy
tomorrow
Cling.
morning, right? And yeah, that's going to happen no matter what. But here's the thing, it's still going to be cloudy. We may even have rain in the morning.
Okay.
And then through the day, it's going to really start to shoot up. Let's take a look at how things are looking as far as the forecast goes. We are going thumbs up for the weekend because I do think you will have opportunities, ample opportunities to get out there and do the yard work. But keep in mind, it's going to be warm, especially Saturday afternoon and Sunday, and the humidity is going to be on the rise too. So that is definitely something to factor into your plans. Next few hours, the temperature should hold relatively steady in the 50s. We have some clouds, a little misty drizzle yuckiness going on. And as we go through the overnight hours, we're probably going to pick up more chances for some showers and maybe some thunderstorms. Some rumblers going on to the south of Mansfield, and we've seen a few little scattered storms down in Tuscarawas County. Those have since moved off toward West Virginia and Pennsylvania, but we're still under this north flow. Now up here in Cleveland, for all of our Akron, Mansfield, Worcester, Dover friends, guess what? Here in Cleveland, we've had clouds, mist, drizzle, and overall very nasty conditions throughout the early part of the day. Meanwhile, y'all have been sitting in the 70s with some sunshine and even a few of those scattered thunderstorms rolling through. Well, you are just on the southern fringes of where the lake's cooling influence is taking place, and all of us are on the backside of a frontal boundary that is separating the 60s and 70s from where temperatures are in the 80s at this hour south of the Ohio River. All of this is going to start to shift northward. Now, when you get a boundary in play, that is when we start to throw in chances for showers and thunderstorms. And you can see there are some scattered showers and storms kind of right along where that temperature boundary is. But once we get into especially the afternoon tomorrow, that boundary goes north and it's off to the races for the temperatures. So when will it all come crashing down, right? We know how this drill goes. Well, out to the west over the Rockies and the Western Plains, you can kind of see this general big circulation that's happening. This is the change, and this change is going to be coming in Sunday to Monday. So ahead of it, we're going to have some thunderstorms, and that would time out to Sunday afternoon and evening. Let's go hour by hour now. We're still dealing with the north wind as we head toward the midnight hour. Temperatures cooling back into the 50s. And look at the rain showers that kind of start to dot the map a little bit. Some heavy downpours are possible, maybe even some rumbles of thunder. So tomorrow morning, when you get up and get rolling, don't start with the Betsy Cling, you stink, because this is going to be happening. But watch what happens once we move from midday into the afternoon. Things start to change. The skies go partly cloudy. There is a chance for a few pop-ups, but the temperatures are going to be up around the 80-degree mark by the end of the day with some sun peaks out there. And we're just going to keep on rolling with those temperatures as we get into Sunday. Here's your Universal Windows Direct forecast. 80 tomorrow. Again, that's later in the day. And then 85 on Sunday. It's going to be a warm and humid day. The marathon. Our runners are going to have very challenging conditions as far as the temperatures, which will be around 70 degrees after they step off, and the humidity, which makes it very difficult to run. So that is a concern. But by the end of the day, we're going to be on the lookout for storms that are going to be rolling in, and you can see what happens on the backside of all that as we get into the 60s for Monday and Tuesday next week, and then we bounce right back up toward more summery type temps.
We were talking with some of our marathon experts that are going to be helping with our broadcast on Sunday, and they said 20 degrees more. That's what you're feeling when you're running for that long stretch of time.
Yeah.
So
Brutal.
Yeah, it's going to be very hot.
You're running and you say, Betsy Kling?
Yeah.
You're
You
cool.
stink, Kling.
No.
It's going to be the 1 finger wave in the morning and the 5 finger
wow.
wave in the afternoon. That's my day tomorrow.
Let's hope not. Thank you, Betsy. Coming up, after a slow start to the season, the Indians offense on a hot streak.
Can they keep it up tonight against the last place Orioles? Nick previews the second game of the series next.
The Sports Report is brought to you by the people-pleasing people at Sarah Auto Park in Akron.
Nick is here to preview what hopefully will be a great night over at Progressive.
Yeah, I think as the weather's getting warmer here, those bats are heating up. It's nice. Can the Indians play the Orioles all summer? Baltimore pitching may be just the remedy the Tribe offense has needed all season. The good news, they're at least here for the rest of the weekend. Now, the Indians last night, they got it going. They're going to be squaring off in Game 2 of their 4-game series tonight. I think we could get used to this, guys. Saw this last night, 14 runs for the good guys, and it was sparked by Jason Kipnis. He homered twice, drove in a career-high 6 runs on the evening, so that's 23 runs combined for the Tribe just over the last 2 games. But Tito not ready to say that his entire club has just turned the corner offensively.
2 games ago, that could be 2 years ago. That was on the West Coast, man. I don't care what we did 2 games ago. I think it's good for our guys. And you want your guys to have success when they go up there and they feel confident. That helps everybody.
All right, so we'll see if that offense can keep things going tonight. Doesn't hurt that Dylan Bundy's on the mound. You see his record there. Jeffrey Rodriguez, he's been pretty good for the Indians. Got him from the Nationals in the Yan Gomes trade. He's been good. First pitch at Progressive Field, set for 7:10 tonight. Well, the first session of Browns OTAs is in the books. The Browns will be back on the practice field again next week in Berea. We've heard so many names when it comes to the 2019 edition of the Browns. You think about Odell Beckham Jr., Baker Mayfield, John Dorsey, Freddie Kitchens, heck, even Kareem Hunt, Greedy Williams. But how about this guy? Browns running back Nick Chubb. He was just ho-hum, went about his business last season, his rookie year, 996 yards on the ground, averaged over 5 yards per carry, and a lot of people may be forgetting about him. His quarterback sure isn't.
Phenomenally talented, very quiet, just works really hard, cares about winning more than anything. And I think, he had 1,000 yards and then lost it, and he didn't care about that. He cared more about the fact that we lost the last game of the year. And I think that speaks volumes of who he is as a teammate, and it's great to have people like that.
All right, well, we're all counting down the days, the hours, heck, the minutes. You see it there until Sunday's Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon. You'll be able to watch our full coverage right here on Channel 3, starting bright and early, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll get it going. This is always such a special day in Cleveland. We're so excited to help bring that to you. The 42nd edition of the Cleveland Marathon. Now, on top of the 26.2-mile competition, we have several races on Sunday, including the half marathon, the 10K. Christine Bowen, who will be helping with our coverage, says this marathon always special for Northeast Ohio.
I am looking forward to really seeing the community come out and support this event. It's local and it's got a lot of local flavor, and so I think it's an opportunity for everyone to come together and celebrate your neighbors, celebrate your family, and this huge accomplishment they're about to undertake.
All right, so don't forget, Sunday morning coverage starts at 6 a.m. Russ and Sarah will be part of that. For more details and information on the marathon and our coverage, check out WKYC.com. And it'll be a different type of race tomorrow night right here on Channel 3. We're racing all day here at WKYC. The 144th Preakness Stakes. For the first time since 1996, the Kentucky Derby winner not going to be in the middle jewel of racing's Triple Crown. That's kind of odd. Country House was pulled from the race. Improbable, your betting favorite at 5-2 odds. Coverage begins at 5. Post time right here at 6:48. You're right on time for that.
Yeah, kind of anticlimactic somehow.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird year.
After everything that happened with the Derby, it really is.
That's tough. Dollar Dog Night at the park tonight. Heading over?
I'm going over.
Now she is.
After the 7,
Yes.
Betsy and Sereno back at 7.
Thank you for watching Channel 3 News at 6, the most watched 6 p.m. newscast in Northeast Ohio.